welcome to X-Men, the animated series re-examined, a podcast on the internet where myself, Dan Bain, and my longtime associate, Javier Kane.
Hello, everyone.
We're both here. We re-examined the X-Men animated series from the 1990s. We watched it as children. We're revisiting it as adults. How does it stack up? Here we are, and we're all the way now through Season 1. We're at the Season 1 finale today. Episode 13, The Final Decision.
I'd like to congratulate everyone that's made it this far with us on this journey. I'm sure you found it as rewarding as we have.
Although your numbers are not mighty, your dedication is powerful. And from those small acorns, enormous oaks can grow.
You could do it. Good.
Yep. You could. Yep.
That's right. We, like the X-Men, we are few, but we are mighty.
That's
we
right.
are committed. And one of you is like Wolverine that just fucks off every now and then, but they always come back.
They always come back. I don't think I haven't seen the statistics, seeing that some of you go away for a bit and then come back.
Yeah, you don't know. When Dan posts one of these podcasts, he furiously runs to the insights and statistics page at data analytics and has a look and is masterminding things on a big risk board in a basement room.
Yeah, there's just data flowing in all directions, Matrix style cascading numbers. And
What I'm trying to say is he sees you, he watches you, and in some of you he's disappointed in you. But in others,
Yes.
so happy to have you.
It's the final episode, We've made it
Of season 1.
all the way through of season 1.
Episode 13, The Final Decision. Oh my god. This was great. I love this episode.
Do you want to give us a quick recap of some plot?
You'll remember in the last one that we found that Senator Kelly, although he was saved by the X-Men, he was kidnapped by Magneto. And I thought they might be throwing a red herring, but he was totally kidnapped by Magneto. Professor X's watch was magnetized. Anyway, Senator Kelly, who was against the mutants, kidnapped by Magneto, taken away to a abandoned ship, which I loved, to be murdered by Magneto because Magneto thinks you gotta go, only for him to be saved by the Sentinels. He's taken away. The X-Men come. They rescue Magneto from the rubble. They use Cerebro on Gambit to track down Gyrick, and they find out where the Sentinel base is, and they find that Master Mold has escaped here. He's still pumping out Sentinels, and they launch a suicide mission to go and destroy the Sentinel base and rescue Senator Kelly. Do they all make it? Spoiler alert, they do. They do, but it's amazing. It's incredible. And the most important thing at the end is we have a little wrap-up of season 1, including things like Cyclops and Jean getting engaged. And also, Beast is freed from prison because when they rescue Senator Kelly, he has a little bit of change of heart. He says, mutants aren't all bad, especially when they're rescuing me. And Beast is finally freed. That's the biggest takeaway from this episode.
Yes, there were. I mean, it really was the constant narrative of the season. Will Beast ever get out of jail? Have the writers forgotten about him? Oh no, they've remembered.
The balls to keep him in jail the entire season.
I know.
And
Just
they go
doing nothing.
You know he's prominent in the title credits, right? People are going to be wondering where the fuck he is.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to bust him out of jail?
It's just making literary references maybe once every 3 episodes.
Yeah, he just drops in for a little Beast's book review.
Now, what did you think of this, Al?
I loved this episode. I thought it was great.
Loved it?
Especially about, you know what? I will be biased because I remember this one from being a kid as one of my favorite episodes because it's got some amazing moments in it. And who doesn't love a good suicide mission? Who doesn't love a good, we shouldn't be doing this. This is a great, I thought, climax of the episode where the X-Men, they're all deliberating. Are we going to go save the guy who wants to put in laws to effectively rule us out, to rub us out? But they got to go do it because that's the right thing to do. And I think this sums up the X-Men perfectly, going and doing the things, to help people that hate them.
Yeah.
What was your feelings on this episode, Dad?
2 really strong feelings about this one. First of all, I thought they actually did a great job of landing the plane. There was so much stuff that was kind of in play that wrapped up in this one, or that they'd set up that then had consequence in this one. far more stuff than they kind of needed to.
A lot of those loose ends neatly tied up, eh?
A lot of loose ends, and like a lot of kind of loose ends that some of the more satisfying ones where I didn't even realize that was a loose end that I wanted tied up. But a lot of...
I forget to mention in the synopsis a huge plot point, which was when Callie and is rescued by the Sentinels. They take him back to the Sentinel base, and the Sentinels pull a Skynet and say, we're in charge now. We're going to replace your human brain with a computer one, and we're going to do this to a lot of world leaders. That's why the Senator needs rescuing, and that's why the Sentinels are bad, and they turn into Terminators.
So this episode kicks off, and it does kind of the X-Men animated series classic that we've discussed a few times, which is we see a scene that we've already seen, but we see a slightly different take on it. We see the attempted assassination, but we kind of now we're following Magneto's perspective.
That's right. Who knew he was a peeping Tom at the window?
We didn't know, but he was peeping.
I will only allow my bucket head to peer above the parapet, lest I be seen by these mutants.
I mean, we've talked about powers of magnetism effectively being all the powers, and it also allows you to peek in the windows.
Yeah. Oh, what was going on in Washington that day? Who forgot about the mutant on the grassy knoll / window pane?
I know. Yeah, there he was. It's like, whoa, who's that? Who's it? Back into the left. Back into the left.
Enhance. Red and purple helmet?
Is that a helmet?
Stop the clocks. It's Magneto. So when he kidnaps him, I love that he takes him back to this old ship. And, he's... By the way, so he tells Kelly, "I'm going to murder you," and because he's like going, you got to go because you're bad for mutants. And the way he decides to murder him is to just pick up a massive metal chunk of ship and kind of like hover it above him and then just drop it on him. Like, this brutal way to go.
Yeah,
if it was a movie, he would totally be like, "I'm slowly taking the iron from your blood. You will die within 2 hours," and have this. Yeah. You see the hubris, but he's like, "No, I'm going to crush you like a mouse."
Yeah, it's a real like, oh god, oh, put the mouse in the bag. Oh god, I gotta hit it with the shovel.
Yeah,
I gotta hit it with the shovel, and then he just stands there for ages with the shovel, kind of in the air. Right?
He's really playing with his food, isn't he? This bit I remember as a kid. So just as Magneto's about to kill Callie, the Sentinels rip open the top of the ship, which is a classic Sentinel move. Just rip open the roof. Classic Sentinel 101. Rip open the roof, reach in with their hand, and I like when Magneto tries to do something on them, and they tell him, "Ha ha, we're plastic."
Yeah, I know. It was. I laughed so much when they're like we're specially plastic sentinels.
Yeah. Crush us once, Magneto. Shame on you.
Yes.
Crush our middle bodies twice. Shame on us. We've been 3D printed.
Yeah. I know, right? So good. But then, the cunningness of having your base be an old abandoned ship really comes to the fore here. Magneto's like, this whole ship is a weapon.
I remember as a kid when he said that, I just had this. This really non-ironic. He's right. The whole ship is made out of metal. You guys are fucked.
Yeah.
I especially love the bit where he pulls out the rivets or and turns them into like shrapnel at high velocity.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing. At that point when I was a kid, I was like, Magneto is badass.
It's like he's just shredded this Sentinel with like a flechette.
Because before that we've seen, exactly. Before that we just seen kind of like magnetic shield, magnetic levitation, blah blah blah, a little bit of kind of like telekinesis. This is the first time you kind of had this brutal realization and could actually, in your mind, imagine, oh my god, imagine all these like nails hurling at you at 100 miles an hour. This guy's incredible.
Yeah, I mean it does. The choice to like hover that. Yeah, like huge piece of engine or whatever it is over him, does give away Magneto's kind of vulnerability to the theatrical, shall we say. He loves to be a little dramatic when,
You know what that was? That was the mutant equivalent of when, like, you know, an older brother or an older kid would, like, pin you down and, like, put a little bit of saliva out of their mouth, looking like it's going to go on your face. And you'd be like, no, don't stop it, Mom!
And then,
they'd suck it back up.
what?
And it'd be all cold.
Yeah.
If you've ever done that, if you've ever tried that. I didn't do that to any kids. But we used to have competitions at school to see who could get a bit of spit closest to the ground and then suck it back up.
And then
this is what we did before cell phones.
Yeah. You kids today with your vapes and your Candy Crushes, where
That's
spit.
Right.
And something that surprised me. He trashes the Sentinels, and meanwhile the X-Men are kind of zooming in to ostensibly rescue the Senator. When they arrive, the Senator's gone, but they find Magneto. Rogue lifts the medal up off him, and he's actually quite bloodied.
Yes, I found quite.
Yeah, it's quite unusual because I remember a lot of kind of cartoons at this time. You know, you would never see blood, and there was always rumors when I was young that and you could tell that gargoyles had been cut quite.
Do you mean the animated series Gargoyles?
The animated series Gargoyles, had been cut, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, they cut that because there's too much blood." And it was like, "Oh yeah, oh wow." And it's like, but you can't show blood in cartoons.
Yeah,
so I was really.
Yeah, I got the version from Japan where you do see the blood, so you can come to my house and watch it if you want to.
Yeah. Oh,
if you can hack it.
No. Yeah, you probably won't be able to. My mum, and then it's like, my mum said you can't come over. Is it actually because you don't have it?
She said you're bad influence.
No. She's yeah.
She said if you put that cigarettes down, you can come over.
Exactly.
I remember a kid
smoking outside our house.
Oh my god! I remember a kid, a friend of mine came to my house, and then we went down to the mall to get some sweets or something, and he had a cigarette. We were about 12. He had a cigarette on the way. And when we got home, my dad was like, "Someone's been smoking. Someone's been smoking. Which one of you has been smoking?" And I was like, "Not me, Dad." And I was like, "Smell my finger," because I didn't smoke at all. Because he offered me some. I was like, "No." And then I think my dad smelled my breath, and he smelled my hands, and he just clearly realized, "Oh, it's the other kid, and my kid hasn't been smoking."
Yeah.
But yeah, we were. I remember just throwing myself in front of, throwing myself to get the bullet.
Yeah.
Because I'm wearing the safety the bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Anyway, how did we get onto that?
He's actually he's bleeding.
He's bleeding.
Quite significantly under it.
Yeah, his abdominals all ripped open, and his costume's there. It's all bloody and stuff. Yeah, Magneto got really, really trashed in that.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah,
they really left him for dead.
They didn't spare him. Yeah.
Do you think the Sentinel's like, I can still detect life forms? What do you think? Should we finish him off?
Yeah, they're like, no, we're good.
Yeah, turns out the plastic models are softer.
Their hearts just melt so easily.
Yeah. When they take it back to Master Mold and they said, we're going to replace your brain with a computer brain and we're going to do this to a bunch of world leaders. I was like, that's an ambitious plan, guys. Bold.
It's just like,
it's a bold strategy, Carton. Let's see how it works out for them.
Oh my god! So I was just like, what? Like my notes just say, I did not see this coming. And in terms of the I guess the specificity of the plan.
Yeah.
Along with it being said in a stupid robot voice.
Yes.
And the fact that this is all pretty much new to this episode. That that you're kind of like, there's maybe some hints to it that maybe they've created something they can't kind of control in the the dam episode, but otherwise this all kind of comes from, it's all new. And then when he's like, you will remove Senator Kelly's brain and replace it with a computer. Just
it was very, invaders from the ninth dimension
Yeah.
I always was like, the hubris of you must. Do you think you'd be able to pull off a convincing human, let alone have a computer control the functions of the human body? Are you fucking insane? 90s robot. I felt like, give it a go. Give it a go. Show me a convincing human for 3 days, and I'll let you go along with this plan.
Yeah, that's running on a 386. You know.
With VGA graphics.
Yeah. You got to push the turbo button in order to get it to talk.
The turbo button. I'm not sure if you remember, dear viewer listeners, some computers had a turbo button. And once you turned it on, it never came off.
Yeah.
Why would you not go turbo?
Why would you not go turbo? Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous plan. I was kind of like, I would love to see you guys try. Go on, Sentinels. They've got to track down Gyrick, and I remember that Gambit has seen Gyrick in Genosha, and so they use Cerebro on him. And Gambit's like, "Oh, don't go too back into my past, okay, Professor? Because I got some stuff I don't want brought out on the telescreen in front of all my friends, okay?"
Gambit really voicing all of the concerns that we brought up when this happened to Bishop. He's very much like, whoa, I think dirty shit all the time about everyone in this room.
Honestly, does everyone want to see my thoughts?
Yeah.
I spend 90% of the time hitting on all of you.
I know you won't be surprised by the tone, but some of the levels of detail you're not going to enjoy.
Jubilee, leave the room. Leave the room! There's notice a little cameo in there when they're reading the thoughts, and it's kind of flashing through his images. There's a quick shot of Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I noticed that. I know him I recognized, but there was also another one, and I wonder if you know who this was, because it didn't ring any bells for me. But it was kind of a kind of lady, kind of with a kind of white face and kind of this dangly kind of.
I think
veil.
that's Belladonna. I think that's his original wife.
Oh, okay.
So Gambit is originally from the Thieves Guild, and in New Orleans, and they also have the rival guild, which is the Assassins Guild. And to try and make peace, when Gambit was a young man, Remy LeBeau, he was in an arranged marriage between the guilds to Belladonna.
Right.
But he left her for some reason in the comics. It was a good reason he left her. It was to try and save her. It was either an ultimatum. Anyway, in the comics they play it out that he just left her like a bad man. But he had a good reason, and I've forgotten what that reason is. It was something to save her, or to go get a cure, or something, or there was foul play behind. Anyway, so I think that's Belladonna, a little nod to her in the comics, in the animated show, to the comics, his original wife. Yeah, and Rogue don't like that shit when she finds out.
I really love how they take these moments that could just, I mean, that moment could have just been so to the point, right? Mm-hmm. You could have gone, here's a we see that he likes the Rogue, like here's this memory of Rogue kind of winking at him, and that's clearly an important memory of his, and here's the guy, you know, but they take the time to build in this extra stuff that is pure Easter eggs for people who are familiar with the wider thing. And, even though I'm not really particularly familiar with it, I'm still like, I know what Ghost Rider looks like. I'm like, that guy. And then there was, and then I'm like, that's a lady. That's clearly very specific. That means something.
I would have liked some like random cutaways of like him patting a dog, him winning at Snap, him eating some yogurt, reading a magazine while he's on the toilet.
Yeah.
Playing with his staff.
Yeah. Some moments of the banality of
life. Like reaching through a wardrobe and just like there's all these trench coats that look exactly the same. His hands wafting in front of him.
Do you know that that Far Side cartoon, which is it's Santa Claus, and he's opened the cupboard and there's just red suit, just identical. And then at the end, same suit, but it's blue. And he's just like this. And the caption is this the year?
I miss Far Side cartoons, man. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what Gambit's wardrobe is, right? It's all the same. It's trench coat, trench coat, trench coat, trench coat, and then at the end it's like Hawaiian shirt. You know,
Come on. Didn't get
It's
to wear it in
this the
Genosha.
I know he didn't even wear it to Genosha. Yeah.
I've got here written down Wolverine in Abe Lincoln's lap.
Yes. So, what happens is they car crash, the other
Oh,
the
Gyrick.
guy with the
Yeah,
Gyrick.
the glasses. Gyrick here, loves
Yeah.
answering, loves being on his phone.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. Actually, that bit there where Storm kind of makes it snow, and
That's right.
the car crashes, and he gets out of the car and he runs away, and then they're at the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. That really fun moment where he's kind of running away from the rest of the team and standing in front of the Lincoln statue, and Wolverine is sitting on the lap. But I thought this was a really, for me, I was like, do you remember in the first appearance of Master Mold, we kind of talked about the similarity between the
his Abe
Master Mold
Lincoln
posture
stance,
and
posture, yes, the way he's sitting.
yeah, and this episode makes it really clear by kind of cutting between those like we see Master Mold in the exact same position.
Oh my god, Dan! I hadn't even thought about that. That's so fucking deep, man. That's
So
really good.
yeah, and that's one of the things I was talking about at the start, where they kind of just land things that I guess that's what I was talking about when I'm like, oh, they finished that, and I didn't even know I wanted that finished.
What I liked about that is like Wolverine's just waiting in Abe Lincoln's lap for this ambush, and I wonder if he was just. He looks like he's so cozy there, like, hey Abe, just let me sit in your lap. I feel so safe in your lap. I can smell you.
Is it all right if I suckle a little on your? No, too far. Okay.
Oh, sorry, he's here. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So they did we get to the bit where they're at the mansion and all just discussing. All right, suicide mission. We got to go rescue Senator Kelly. And they're really deliberating. There's a bit there where Jubilee really grows up, and because they're going, who's in, who's out. Gambit initially says, I don't want to save this piece of trash. But Jubilee has this moment where she's like, no, I'm an X-Men now. And that kind of like closes off her arc a little bit. We start with her being the fish out of water, the trainee, the newest student. And now this one, she's really convinced that she's part of the team now. And she's really got a lot of conviction. And I was like, good for you. That's adorable. We don't really need you on these missions, Jubilee. I don't think you've done a huge amount. But maybe there's been a lot going on behind the scenes for you to, think you've gone through your arc.
Emotional growth is as important on a combat mission as combat capability. like she can't handle herself in a fight at all, but she's really matured.
Yeah, you really, Jubilee. You were having a nap during our last mission under a tree.
I had a big lunch.
I mean, you can come on the mission, but we might just have you on the bench. All right?
Yeah, there's going to be some responsibilities.
Yeah. Have maybe some coffee on the Blackbird on the way over there for you.
I don't like the taste.
We'll put lots of sugar in, okay?
Okay.
We'll make you a macchiato. It's chocolatey.
Yeah.
I like when so Cyclops just makes up his mind very quickly. I like this bit where him and Jean just kind of turn and leave. He's like, "Yeah, we're going on the mission," and him and Jean leave, and he goes, "I'll be in the Blackbird." And it really looks like we're gonna go fuck in the Blackbird.
We'll be in the Blackbird. You guys keep discussing this for a bit.
Yeah. Take some time suiting up. Me and Jean,
Yeah.
I like that, Cyclops. If you're going on a suicide mission, there's one more thing, one last thing you want to do. Yeah. If this is the end, Jean, you don't even need to read my mind.
Yeah. Also, in terms of just wrapping up kind of emotional arcs, so Jubilee is like, I'm an X-Man. That's why I want to be here. And then Wolverine goes, me too. you know, which I think like
Oh yeah. It's his constant running away. Am I?
It closes him off. He's been totally. Am I in or am I out?
Yeah.
And he definitively states, "No, I'm in."
After my little talk with Abe, I thought family.
Yes. Yeah.
Pulls a Vin Diesel.
Yes. They all kind of argue through it. We never see what Storm says. We just kind of assume, Storm just kind of goes.
Oh, Storm's just sitting there going, "I'm claustrophobic."
Yes.
In case anyone forgot.
Yes. The power of fog. Oh, the fog is enclosing a bit much. Less fog.
Away,
fog.
Winds,
away,
help
fog.
me, carry me. Yeah. I do like when they all decide to go, and I did like Magneto. He interrupts the briefing, going like, "Don't do it. That's stupid. You know, why would you risk your lives for these guys?" And as they leave, he goes, "You fools, you heroic fools."
Don't you know? The brave are always the first to die.
I wrote down that line as well. I was like, "Oh, that's some poignant shit."
Yeah.
Put down your cereal, kids. Here's a life lesson. Stick your head above the parapet. You're the first to go.
Yeah.
You want to be brave? You'll be the first to die.
Yeah.
Now back to your Lucky Charms.
I know, right?
And it was very because I will be talking about this later. It was very Han Solo in A New Hope, like, you know, when Luke's like, "Just look around. We could use someone like you," and he's like, "I'm not. You know, it's my own idea of suicide. I'm not going on that. Why risk my life for that shit?" Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And you know, no spoilers here, but I'm using a Han Solo reference for a reason. Yeah. Anyway, so they go off, and I love how they have the split off here. So you got the surface team, because the base is down in a underground. You got the surface team, which is Rogue, Storm, Jubilee, and Professor X in the Blackbird. I liked that touch. Professor X is like, "Yeah, I'm not. I can help. Look, I've got a jet. I can fly this shit."
Yeah. One moment where I think they kind of... There's very few moments where they drop the ball on this one. It's pretty consistent all the way through. Although, as I said, I was quite alarmed at the reveal of the Sentinel plan. But I'm like, okay, cool. Because in some ways, and I'm digressing from what I was about to say now, but the other thing that wraps up is the first episode is about the problem of Sentinels. Like in many ways, this whole series has been like the problem of Sentinels, right? Like the first one, we open the first one.
How do you fix a problem like a Sentinel?
How do you fix it? And this episode is let's today we're going to do it. We're going to go fix the problem of Sentinels.
Yeah, I found the roach nest. Let's go sort this out.
But the one thing a moment where there was for me a slight misstep was the reveal that Gambit had come on the mission felt real anticlimactic.
Like, because he was like, "No," but then you see him flying on the jet.
Yeah, exactly. It's very set up that like it's absolutely in question that Gambit will be on the mission, and they hide it for a little bit, kind of by the blocking and the angles, and then they just kind of go, "Oh yeah, Gambit's there." You know what I mean?
It would have been cool if he like said no, and then maybe came in and saved the day a little bit.
Yeah, or he's come along on the mission, right? Here's how I fix it.
Here we go. Dan's going to rewrite this and fix this shit. Time this right up.
They break into the teams, but the whole time we've never seen that Gambit is on the bottom strike team. It's just always cut around him, and then the elevator comes down, and then the Sentinel goes, "What is that?" And then it zooms in, and it's like it looks like the Ace of Spades, and then it explodes, right?
Yeah.
And then we've had then it pulls back, and there's all of them there, including Gambit. That's like then it's like, he came.
Gambit.
Shit.
It was a literal calling card.
Yeah, he used his calling card as opposed to just like, "Oh yeah, I'm also on the plane." I felt that there was
a missed opportunity there.
Missed opportunity, but you know.
I did love this bit as a kid as well. Like, so they're going down the elevator shaft into what looks like it's going to be a trap. All these Sentinels down there waiting for them, and you know the elevator pulls up, and it's just a card there, a charged kinetic Gambit card. And what is that? Inconsistent on how these cards explode. across the series. I will put out.
Sometimes it's like he's got like effectively the cards are like Jubilee level of power.
Yeah.
Like, but he can do heaps of them.
Yeah.
But it's just like pow, 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 pow. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like you need a bomb.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Sometimes it's like a C4 Ace of Spades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so I should have said C4 of Hearts.
Oh,
Damn it!
yes.
Such a missed opportunity.
Fix it on the edit.
Loved this bit because look, I thought this whole sequence here, the third act here, is the big payoff for any kid or fan of the series. It's just what anyone wants. It is the big fight against an army of robots. So you got the team at the top, Rogue, Storm, Jubilee taking out Sentinels up there. Did you notice the bit where Rogue gets crushed in between two train carriages? I felt that. It's like it's like very much like in Terminator 2 when he's just getting slammed in the industrial factory at the end. Rogue really gets hammered there.
There's so many Sentinels, and it's like the ground team just kind of mowed through them. It's a massive display of Sentinel incompetence.
Yes.
There's just so much like walking into water towers and
One does it. One clotheslines himself.
Yeah,
he's chasing Jubilee, and he like clotheslines himself on a ledge of a train carriage or something. It's like that's like the Stormtrooper in A New Hope. Lots of references of A New Hope in this
moment that actually reminded me of New Hope was Jubilee destroys a Sentinel, and she's like, "I got one," and I just kind of I was just waiting. I was just waiting for "Don't Get Cocky." Yeah.
Now, so then the strike team, they split up again into like Jean Grey and Cyclops and Gambit and Wolverine, and this was one of the coolest moments ever. I remember where Gambit and Wolverine run into a cavern full of Sentinels, and they did a great thing of like, what's in the darkness, and the Sentinel eyes light up horror styles.
Yeah.
And Wolverine's like, let's get out of here, and closes the door. I will fight off the Sentinels. You save yourself, Gambit. And there's this great bit where it's pitch black, and it's only lit up by flashes of the Sentinels firing their beams at a Wolverine dodging around and taking them out. This was the shit. I was never a big Wolverine fan as a kid because everyone loved Wolverine. And I was like, whatever. But this bit, I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking awesome.
Just like there's kind of stroboscopic moments of, like
great word, stroboscopic.
Just the flashes of action, and very a real tie back to like I feel like I could see those panels in like in comic form. It really felt respectful and like a throwback to the original medium, as well as being like a cool moment. It was really cool.
What a great stylistic choice, and also to combat some of the hammy animations. Like, what's that? Some of the animations aren't great. What if we just go to black? What if we have no animations?
Yeah.
Literal black on the screen.
A great example of like using the limitations of the form or the tools or the finances that you have available.
I mean, I know they don't have the budget, but I did love that it made us all in our minds kind of go, because Gambit forces his way back in there to help Wolverine, and just this action scene in this enclosed space of Gambit and Wolverine taking out Sentinels. Because when we come back to them, they're just standing on a pile of Sentinel bodies. Wolverine's like his costume's ripped all to hell.
Wolverine's got no shirt on. Hey, it's just like.
I bet you he didn't lose that in battle. He ripped it off himself in a moment of pure battle frenzy.
Yeah, he tore one's head off and then just Hulkamania'd it.
Just Hulkamania'd. Yeah, I mean, because Gambit's fully clothed.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just like,
he's fine.
It was hard. And then, but and so then the mega mold, the big master mold, is Jean kind of floats Senator Kelly out.
Yeah,
and Trask decides I've gone
my
too
creations.
far.
I've got to make amends.
I've got to make amends, and he turns his laser onto an enormous propane tank.
Yeah. Leave that
which
propane there. It's for the brain surgery.
I know, right? How? Why do we have so much of it? It seems
Yeah.
important.
Speaking of things that cause explosions that shouldn't really be there, we then so near the end, Master Mold emerges. What just when you think like, yay, we won, and Master Mold emerges, and then it's Professor X flying an X-jet, and it's full of TNT and boxes of explosives, very much in the style of Wile E. Coyote has packed. Has packed all this stuff in here. I was like, where the fuck did you get all that? Because previously, this space was taken up by X-Men, and now the plane is full of explosives. Where where have you been? Where'd you get this shit?
Yeah. I think it's definitely from the Acme delivery factory.
Absolutely.
That's where you buy
it was almost
a giant
comedic.
catapult, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I literally shouted this out loud while I was watching it, which was, he's going to 9/11 him.
Oh, shit.
I was like, oh my gosh. He's got,
Shit.
And he did. He blimmin' did. And then...
I love the Magneto team up where Magneto's just hanging on the roof of the jet while he's flying towards Master Molds and putting a magnetic shield around him. That's fucking teamwork.
It was some fucking teamwork.
Parachutes out. Great. I think this is a really good example of Cyclops' power where he uses his optic blast as essentially like a drilling tool.
To dig
to
them
escape,
out.
to dig out. So like they've got to go find Wolverine and Gambit. And I love when he says, "Oh, there's again another tie-up when Jean and Cyclops are escaping, and Cyclops says, I'm going back for Wolverine and Gambit. I'm not leaving anyone behind this time."
Like Morph.
Yeah. Although I will say again, Cyclops was putting numbers on the goddamn board in that episode.
Oh yeah,
he took out like about 6 of them. Wolverine took out none. Anyway, I think we've covered this.
I know, but he's taken it personally. Like
he has taken it personally.
I think maybe he hasn't reviewed the footage.
Yeah, I don't know how. Every other villain seemed to get it.
I know.
Yeah. And even though he's worried about them, and he turns up and he sees them, he's like, "Come on, what is this? Your day off? Like, let's go."
I know.
Like,
he still gives them shit.
I'm here to rescue you. Now stop fucking around. Let's go.
Yeah.
It must be like, oh, did you just not see? I took out like 90 sentinels here, Cyclops.
Yeah. We've just had an extraordinary battle. It's like, well, it seems like half of it was in the dark, so like whatever.
Yeah. Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. It was and super cute moment where while Cyclops is digging them out, we kind of cut back up and we see Rogue kind of going, "Where's Gambit? Where's Gambit?" And she goes, I got to go back in. And then they emerge from the ground. And she runs over and gives him a little kiss, but puts her hand over his mouth and kisses the back of her hand. It's just real sweet.
It's really sweet. It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Special mention to the bit where Gambit and Wolverine are taking out Sentinels, and Gambit does a card spring that are all charged cards. Like, you know that bit where you'd go like, "Hey, 52 pickup, have you played it?" And like spring all the cards at someone and onto the floor. He does that, but with charged cards. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." Yeah, I just like, I like to just use the whole deck on one Sentinel. Like that one guy must have been the one that, you know, like a moth that fucks you off. He's like, "Oh, you die now." When you use the whole deck and you go, "Oh, worth it."
Yeah. I'm gonna have to beat the rest of them to death with my hands, but I don't even care.
Okay, time for stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so then, then Master Mold comes out. Charles crashes the Blackbird into him. Magneto's like, "Now we're even, Charles," and off he
Goodbye,
goes.
heroic fool.
Yeah, and then we just have kind of we have like a kind of a fast montage to kind of wrap up a bunch of different little storylines.
Yeah, Senator Kelly changes his mind about mutants. Beast is freed.
Beast is freed. Yes. Yeah. He exits us with a Shakespeare quote. Scott proposes to Jean. And she kind of she isn't all out. Yes, she's kind of like
She does have that reservation of like, if we have kids, they'll be mutants.
Yeah.
And they'll face everything we did.
Yeah.
And Scott says it was a layup, like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Of course, what else is he going to say? Oh, good point, actually. Let me rescind that.
Yeah. Or like, whoa. Who said anything about kids?
Right?
Yeah.
Damn, pump the brakes.
Yeah. And then we kind of see that moment, or we see the continuation of that moment, but we see it through like a fancy computer screen where clearly
they're being watched. They're being surveilled.
Being watched and observed. And in a creepy voice says, "Sinister knows what your future holds."
Cliffhanger for season 1.
Yeah, bit of a cliffhanger for season 1. So it kind of we wrap up. This season was about the threat of sentinels and the kind of immediate political danger, effectively.
Yeah.
Irrespective of kind of the twists and turns that we went on to get there, that's what this all kind of ended up being about, and that's what we've resolved.
I mean, the Sentinels are very much they're a manifestation of the government. So this is kind of like the threat about the threat of Sentinels against mutants in general. Against a giant population. I'm a bit more hazy on the subsequent seasons, but I think we're going to be going into more personal things. Like threats coming, like Mr. Sinister. The guy who's watching them at the end. He is a villain hell-bent on and obsessed with Cyclops. So, I think the threats here are going to be a bit more digging into individual X-Men and what the threats are to them, and more personal rather than trying to save all of mutant kind.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
but so much cool stuff to come. We're just getting started, guys. What a great jump off point for season 2.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the episode and season 1 half. But if people are interested in our kind of take on the season as a whole, rather than the minutiae of the individual episode, join us again next week, where we'll kind of be recapping the entirety of season 1, kind of going through our top moments, our best moments, our least favourite moments, things we'd like to see more of, things we'd like to see less of, all those sort of things. And
I'm going to nerd out so hard. You think
You
I've
can-
been nerding out now? I'm going to be pouring it all out onto this microphone.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you, if you think I've been like themes, hold your breath. So
We
for
get
that,
Director Dan next week.
yes, I know. Join us next week, and the easiest way to do that, of course, is to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to it right now. The opportunity to subscribe is surely there. Get it delivered hot and fresh in your feed as it arrives onto the internet. If you'd like to give us a rating or a review wherever you found it as well, that would be amazing and helps the podcast grow and spread the word through the various fans of the show. Otherwise, if you'd like to follow either Hav or myself, catch us live. We both do comedy and various things, and there are clickable links to where we do that in the show notes. Give them a click, come to a gig. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week for the final wrap-up of season 1.
Nice one, guys. See you later.
Thanks. Cheers, Hav. Bye. Are podcasts too interesting? Especially if you use them to fall asleep. I'm Dan Bain, and all 4 seasons of my podcast, Sleepy Time Mumbles, are interesting enough to listen to, but not interesting enough to keep you awake. Sleepy Time Mumbles, a podcast you can miss, wherever you get your podcasts.